Hello everyone. Very good morning to all of you. First of all, thank you very much for taking your time amidst your busy schedule and joining today's workshop. And this is the second of a series of workshops on modernizing password self-service. Each workshop in the series will focus on a specific set of password self-service and IT self-service tasks and demonstrate how you can reduce help desk workload using AD Self-Service Plus. I hope this session will be of great use to deploy AD Self-Service Plus product effectively. So before getting into the topic, let me introduce myself. My name is Ramchan and I work in the marketing of the Manage Engine team and I will be taking today's workshop. I hope my voice is audible and the display is well and clear. If not, please let us know in the chat. Okay, today's topic is synchronizing password changes from Active Directory to Office 365 in real time. So let me get on to the topics that we are going to see today. The first one is automatically reset Office 365 password when end users reset their Active Directory password. And the second, automatically link Active Directory and Office 365 accounts for password synchronization. The third, reset Office 365 password without changing the password in Active Directory. The fourth is the most important one, synchronizing password changes in real time between Active Directory and Office 365 using the password sync agent. And finally, we'll see how the admin can make use of built-in reports to track the results of the password reset operations in Active Directory and Office 365. Okay, now let's get hands-on and let's see the first topic, automatically resetting Office 365 password. So the first thing to be noted is the admin should log in to his console into the AD self-service product and he should set up Office 365 sync before the users can make use of it. So I'm logging in as the admin. I'm heading to the configuration tab and I'm choosing password synchronizer from the self-service group. And yes, I'm shown 12 apps which can be used for password syncing with Active Directory. So for today, I'll show you how to set up Office 365 and make use of password sync from AD Self-Service Plus. So I'm clicking on Office 365 and I should type the domain name in the in Office 365 and the Office 365 admin username and password. But before that, you should note this important point. There is sync of Active Directory password reset with Office 365 requires Windows Azure AD module for Windows PowerShell. So I'm clicking on this Learn More link and yes, there are two options, whether you'll be using a 32-bit system or a 64-bit system. So based on that, you need to download these two EXEs and you need to install it in your computer. And this is one important point to be noted. That is, if your computer is a 64-bit system and you're using 32-bit AD Self-Service Plus product, then you need to copy or move these two folders, MS Online and MS Online Extended, from this source folder to this destination folder. And after doing these steps, you're all set to set up Office 365 with AD Self-Service Plus. So I'm showing you, I'm going to enter my test domain credentials in Office 365, which is ramchan.info, and the administrator username and the admin password. Now there's a drop down for available policies that this password sync applies to. As I have just one policy, it's already selected and I'm saving it. And yes, now Office 365 password sync with AD Self-Service Plus is set up. Yes, Now I have got a success message that the configuration was added successfully. Now this is, let me show you another machine which does not have Windows Azure AD module for PowerShell. So in that system, if I enter the same credentials, I won't be able to save the settings since it does not have that Windows Azure AD module for PowerShell. So when I click save in this other system which does not have this Windows Azure AD module, I'll be shown an error telling the same. So just make sure that you install this before trying to set up. So let me close this. And yes, coming back to my system, where Office 365 is set up. That's all it takes on the admin side to set up Office 365 Sync. So I'm signing out, and now I'm going to show you where an end user is going to change his password and make use of Office 365 Sync. So I'm typing a test end user credential and I'm entering into it, and once I get into it, I can head to the change password tab and I can go on with password reset. No, I entered the credentials wrongly. Oh, just a minute. I'm going to reset the password for the user from the Active Directory users and computers. Okay, so coming back to AD Self-Service Plus, I'm entering the user's credentials and I'm logging in. And yes, as I said, once I log in, I can head to the change password tab where I can choose to change my password for the systems which are already configured. And yes, Active Directory is shown, and the next option is Office 365, the domain name of Office 365, and it's already selected. Yes, I'm entering my old password now, and I'm setting my new password as QWERTY#1. Yes, just for the purpose of testing. And the password strength is good. Yes, I'm clicking on OK. And once this happens, my password will be immediately synced with Office 365, and I can test it right away after this password change happens. Once the screen loads, I'll be shown the status message. Yes, Active Directory password has been successfully reset, as well as Office 365 password. Now I can head on to Office 365 and check if that happened successfully. Yes. Okay. Now I can type the username raja@ramjan.info and the new password, which is QWERTY#1, and I'm signing in, and yes, it was successful. I'm able to log in with a new password. So this is how the password for Office 365 is automatically reset when the user changes his password for Active Directory, and the same applies for password reset as well. When a user forgets his password, he can head out to forgot your password, and the user enters his Samacon name, and he'll proceed to the next screen where he needs to verify his identity either using security questions or verification code. And yes, I'm being shown my security questions. What is your favorite color? Which is black. And the country of dreamed of vacationing, it's yes, Italy. And I'm entering my CAPTCHA code, and yes, I'm proceeding to the next screen. Now the screen is similar to change password screen. I can check which systems to reset the password for, and I can enter my new password, which I'm again going back to ADSSP at 123, and yes, the password strength is shown as good. and I'm entering my captcha code and I'm resetting. Yes, and one thing to be noted here is the total operation should complete within 5 minutes, which we are already past for more than 40 seconds and still counting. And finally, yes, both Active Directory as well as Office 365 passwords are reset successfully. So this was the first point that we saw, automatically resetting or changing password for Office 365 when user changes his Active Directory password. Now let's come to the second point. Now, one thing to be noted here is the automatical linking of Active Directory account with Office 365. Now, for the user Raja, how did AD Self-Service Plus know his user account Raja at ramchand.info? So the user's Office 365 account is Raja at ramchand.info and his AD account was Raja. Now, how did AD Self-Service Plus work like magic and reset his password for Office 365? Well, the answer is I'm heading on to password synchronizer and it's here, the account linking button. Yes, by default, whenever you enable any application for password sync, the default account linking option is auto account linking. Yes, and automatically the SAM account name of the user will be linked to his customized domain name in Office 365. So hence it was Raja at ramchand.info, and that's how the user was automatically linked to his Office 365 account. Now I can head on to this drop down box and I can choose any of this option for this password, for this automatic account linking, either employee ID or mail attribute or his SN or his common name, anything. And based on that, I'll save it. So for the purpose of testing, I'm just leaving it to SAM account name. I'm not changing it. So this is how accounts are automatically linked with other providers like Office 365, Google Apps, etc. So now let's head on to the third option where the user can reset his password for Office 365 alone without changing his Active Directory password. So now I'm signing out from the admin panel and I'm heading on to the user logon and I'm entering my password for the user. Yes, and I'm logging in. And speaking about the option which we discussed right now, the user can reset or change his password for Office 365 without messing around with Active Directory. So yes, my Active Directory checkbox is unable to be removed, which means the user has to be mandatorily reset or change his password for Active Directory every time he does that through AD Self-Service Plus. Now there is an option to make it uncheck, or the user may allow the user to uncheck this text box so that he can only change or reset his password for Office 365 alone. So for that, we need to log into the admin screen, head back to configuration tab and choose advanced policy configurations. Now I need to go to the advanced button and under password sync tab, I'm shown an option to allow users to deselect Active Directory during reset or unlock operations. You just check this text, check this box and click on OK, and I'm saving the policy. Yes, now this is set. Now everything is set. I'm heading back to the domain user logon and I'm typing the user's password. I'm logging in and now I will be able to reset or change my password for Office 365 alone without messing around with Active Directory. And I'm heading to the change password tab and now I'm able to remove Active Directory from this list of accounts. And now I have removed. I'm going to change my password only for Office 365 I'm typing my old password, which is ADSSP at 123. I'm typing my new password, which is password at 123. I'm retyping it and I'm proceeding. Yes, now once this gets over, my password for Office 365 will alone be changed. And yes, I'm shown the success message for Office 365. So now I can head back to Office 365 and verify it. So before that, I'm signing out the previous login. And yes, I need to wait now. And I'm clicking on this user account. I'm entering the new password, which is password at 123. And I'm signing in. Yes, again, it was successful, which means AD Self-Service Plus has instantly synced the password change with Office 365. And that's the end of the third part, which is resetting Office 365 password without changing Active Directory's password. Now let's get to the fourth point, which is synchronizing password changes in real time between Active Directory and Office 365. Now, this is where the password sync agent comes into play. Yes, the password sync agent can be installed on your primary domain controller, and it's also advisable to install it on all writable domain controllers so that every single change or password reset is synced immediately with AD Self-Service Plus and hence with other cloud providers like Office 365. So you can find this password sync agent in the bin folder where AD Self-Service Plus is installed. Just pick it and install it in your domain controller. And once it's installed, you can see the password sync agents running in your primary domain controller. Now note this is a remote connection to my primary domain controller, and this is the dialog box for password sync agent. Now it shows that the server it is syncing with, which is my server name and the port number and protocol, and the server status, the server is live. That is my server ram-2375 is live, and the service status is password sync agent's service, which is running and it's up and live. So every single password reset or change outside of AD Self-Service Plus will also be synced. So now let me test it. The user can either head on to his own Control-Alt-Delete screen and change his password without using AD Self-Service Plus, or when the admin decides to reset a user's password from Active Directory users and computers. So now let me show you this, where the admin is going to reset a user's password from ADUC. So I'm right clicking, I'm selecting reset password. Now my new password is running out of passwords, so I'm getting back to QWERTY #1. And once this gets over, the user's password will be synced immediately with AD Self-Service Plus. So now I can just head back to Office 365, sign out the old login, and I can test my new password, which is QWERTY #1, and I'm signing in, and yes, I'm signed in successfully. This shows that the password reset from the ADUC was immediately synced with AD Self-Service Plus and hence with Office 365. So that was the fourth point. Coming to the fifth point, and which is the admin's part, where the admin can track the user's password change and reset using built-in reports. And the one thing to be noted here is once your password sync agent is set up, how does the admin know when the users changed or reset their password, and all kinds of tracking related to change or reset password. So the answer is logging into the admin portal and selecting the reports tab, and I'm being shown the reset password audit report and change password audit report. So first let me head to reset password audit report, which was the last sync. Yes, I reset the password for the user Raja, and it was successful for both Office 365 as well as the Active Directory, and totally there were 12 attempts for password reset by this user, and the last attempt was from the DC, which I showed you from my ADUC, Active Directory users and password, users and computers, sorry. And this is how the admin can track users reset password. Now the same goes for change password audit report as well, and I can head to audit reports and click on change password audit report, and yes, the user Raja last changed his password at 12:15 p.m. and I can click on more to see all the attempts by the user. And as you can see, the last attempt was just for Office 365, which I showed you, not messing around with Active Directory, and just resetting the password for Office 365 alone. There were totally 3 attempts by this user, and also the admin can export this password change or reset reports to CSV, PDF and other formats. Also the admin can view it in a printable format so that he can take a printout of all the audit reports. So that was the final point where the admin makes use of built-in reports to track the results of the password reset operations in Active Directory and Office 365. Now, a quick recap of all the topics that we saw today. The first was setting up Office 365 with AD Self-Service Plus, and before that, the admin has to install PowerShell module in the machine where AD Self-Service Plus is running. And after that, the first point that we saw was automatically resetting the password for AD, automatically resetting the password for Office 365 when users reset their Active Directory password, and automatically linking Active Directory with Office 365 accounts for password sync. And we saw various other attributes for automatic linking. And also the third one was resetting your Office 365 password without messing with Active Directory's password. And the fourth, which was the important one, where the password sync agent was used to synchronize password changes in real time with Active Directory, and hence porting it to other cloud accounts like Office 365 so that the sync happens immediately. And finally, we saw how the admin can track users change or password resets using built-in reports in AD Self-Service Plus. So thank you all for taking your time and listening to this workshop. I hope it will help you in effectively deploying AD Self-Service Plus in your organization. If you have any question, you're more than welcome to drop your questions in the chat box, or you can get in touch with us through email. The video of this workshop will be available online, and the same will be shared with you as well. Also, a feedback mailer will be sent to you, which is going to help us in improving the quality of the workshop. Please take a minute or two to fill up the form, which is going to be of great use to us. Once again, thank you very much and have a wonderful rest of the day.